Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Friday night's edition of Not Another Rangers podcast. I'm your host, Gary, and we have the three amigos. Is that what you call it when the three is all back together again? Because that's not happened for the last couple of episodes. Ricky was away, travelling back from Abu Dhabi with pockets full of cash as usual. And so we had Martin on helping us out during the week there. So it's the three of us back tonight. We will dissect the Kilmarnock game. One half will not take very long. The second half will take a bit longer. Maybe talk about some of the fallout, which has been masses of hysteria about David Dickinson now wearing his Rangers top underneath his referee strip. And we'll look to preview. We'll talk a wee bit about some of the new signings. The second, two Romans probably we could take up a whole pod in his own right. One of the best half-hour debuts I've seen in a long time. And then preview what is a revenge mission on Sunday against Queen's Park, who this time last year, would it be this time last year? Must have been about then. Caused us probably one of our greatest ever defeats our worst ever defeats, in the Scottish Cup. So lots to cover over the next hour, but it should hopefully be mostly positive because we are still continuing on a Danny roll and after a 5-1 victory against Kilmarnock. So Ricky, how are you back in Cyprus?
Yeah, no, good mate. Just travelling yesterday. I was on the rig for over a month, so I had 2 or 3 pints at the airport, and I was floating to my airplane, man. You know when you've not had a drink for ages, and then pints just taste amazing, right? It's like being a kid again when you're 16, that first taste of beer. So it was a nice flight yesterday. Great to be back, and looking forward to the pod tonight.
And yourself, Scott, how have you been? Well, I did see 48 hours ago when you kindly walked up the stairs because of my dodgy ankle to see me for a change rather than me having to come down to see you.
You keep saying it's a dodgy ankle, Gary. Just admit it, you're getting old. I'm fine. I was off today, so when you're off work, you always feel a bit better than when you're stuck in an office. So everything's been good. So I'm going to the Athley Troon game tomorrow because it's a top of the Troon are top of the league, and Athley beat Kilmarnock away last week, so it should be a good game tomorrow.
So Athley are top of the league or Troon are top of the league?
Oh, Troon are top of the league, but Athley got a good victory last week away at Kilmarnock, so they're getting up the league. They're not going to be anywhere near winning it, but they're getting up the league. But Troon's top, which is I didn't expect. I thought Kilmarnock would have run away with the league, but they're not at this moment in time. So it should be a good game tomorrow.
Just hope it's not freezing. Willie, is that just going yourself? Or you meet Willie there and talk all
things? No, I'm going with Willie. Aye, big Willie's coming.
Kurt loves the big Willie.
That's a good line, Ricky. That's a good line.
I knew Ricky was going to say that. That's how I said it. No, I'm meeting Willie tomorrow. He's away to the, I think it's under 17s at Auchenhowie night. So he said that he'll fancy going to the game tomorrow. I said I'm not doing nothing tomorrow because Rangers don't play to Sunday, so I'll go to that tomorrow.
Before we, I suppose, are you going Sunday, Scott? Before we actually delve into the game, have you got a ticket? Or are you not bothering?
I'll get CCS, Gary. So every ticket it comes off. Do you know that way? So will I go? I probably will, but we'll see you on Sunday morning. I probably will just go, Gary. Aye.
I will be there. I'm just seeing this from Alexander there. Pele played at Troon. I don't know if that's a true story, if it's a joke, or Alexander's old enough to remember.
I think he probably did at one point. I believe Alexander. Google it, Ricky. Google it.
That's in the comments if he's talking truth. Anyway, so it's a kind of strange weekend this weekend, actually, because there's been so much happening in the last couple of weeks with transfer windows and edging towards league games. When you've got a game, and there's no disrespect to Queen's Park, but when the next game ahead is a game against the bottom team in the Championship, it's probably not get the same level of excitement, despite the fact, obviously, it's a trophy we're very much keen to win and avenging the game. So it's probably not quite as, I don't know, hyper as we've been for the last couple of weeks when we've been looking at new signings, looking at all this sort of stuff happening. But it gives us maybe more time to talk about those 4 new signings, gives us a bit more time to talk about the game on Wednesday night, and obviously kind of preview some of the expected changes for Sunday from there. So, Ricky, I suppose we'll come to the game first then. So, with Kilmarnock 5-1 victory in the end. One of the big talking points, obviously, is I should probably cover this first. One of the biggest talking points was Danny Roll's comments after it when he was talking about the Ibrox crowd and how he couldn't understand the negativity at half-time when a small number of people were booing what had been a pretty bland performance despite being 1-0 up. Did you think Danny has enough kudos to be saying those things to the fans now, and it was actually a good time to say it?
He can say what he wants, mate. Welcome to Rangers. It's never going to change. Walter Smith had to face it when we were going for 9 in a row. I remember him calling the fans out, going, "Come on, guys." I think we were 0-0 at a game at half-time. And he was going mental, not mental, but he did the same as Roll. He's like, "Guys, come on, give the players, we need your backing," and stuff like that. And to be fair to the fans, I mean, I've seen a lot of people debating it, and I understand both sides of the argument, Gary. For me, I quite like that Ibrox lets the players know if they're not performing well. I just think but I think the booze is a little bit too far, but I don't think it's ever going to change. It's not a new thing, Gary. I think it's a little bit worse. There is PTSD there for the last sort of like 15 years, what the club has went through and stuff like that. But it was there when we went for 9 in a row. It's never going to change. Yeah, you could really feel it, to be honest with you. There was a lot of frustration after that, like going into half time. And even in the second half, until we got that second goal, I actually watched the game in the second half. I was doing something earlier on. I had the game on with my earphones in, and you could hear the fans, like you could really hear it on Rangers TV, how anxious the support was until Miovski scored. There was a moment when Asgard is basically clean through and he can either shoot or let off to Miovski, and it's like 5-yard pass, and he pings the ball miles past Miovski, and the fans just go crazy, mate. So I think Roll did have enough. He had enough in his locker to have a go back at the fans, but it's not going to change, Gary. I mean, the next game. I mean, it'll be a better atmosphere against Hearts. Hopefully, it's going to be a proper old school atmosphere against Hearts, because the players deserve that and they need that, especially if we beat Motherwell. But the other games, it's going to be like that until you get that second goal. Fans are just anxious. We're desperate to win this title, but we sort of feel like that's 2.5 of football where the team was really bad and it was really pedestrian. It's like, are the players given enough? Do they understand they're in a title race? It's not going to be spectacular every single half of football, Gary, but we do feel like the players just can give us a little bit more. And if you're seeing that on the park, and Kilmarnock with 10 men is a better team and creating chances against you, fans are right to get a little bit worried, mate.
Yeah. I suppose, well, obviously, me and Scott at the game, so I'll get your thoughts in a minute. Scott, do you know, it's one of the things I've never done, and I get everybody there will say it's up to you, pay your money, you're allowed to shout and say what you want and do what you want. It's something I've never really done, is boo the team at any point in the game, because I don't really see the gain in it personally. That's my own perspective on it. But I mean, it wasn't, to be fair, it wasn't a large percentage of the crowd. It was a small number of people that were a little bit worked up, a little bit frustrated. We had played poorly. We were 1-0 up 4 minutes in. You're expecting they're going to be a little rampant and score a few goals in that first half, and it never materialised that way. But Scott, in terms of I suppose more the broader thing about the comments and we've talked a lot over this pod over this all season about the crowd and the impact, or negative impact, or positive impact it can have on the team going forward. Now in a position where we've 28 points out of 30 and 13 games to go, 6 or 7 at Ibrox. The crowd probably needs to play its part in helping us get where we want to get to.
Listen, I think that's always been the case, Gary. For as long as I've been going, it's the home supporters usually got on the players' back at times more than away fans. Do you know what I mean? It's always been the case, and I think Ricky mentioned that, I've mentioned it before. I think it's just what's happened in the past. We're all sitting there another night. The first half isn't great, to be fair. But we were 1-1 at half time against 10 men, so I think we'll come back out and perform better in the second half. But I don't think Danny Rowe understands properly. I don't think he's came for Germany, but that doesn't really happen in Germany. It doesn't. I've been to a few Hamburg games and that, and it doesn't really happen. It doesn't matter if you're getting beat, the crowd are always singing, the crowd are always going. Southampton fans don't really do it, and Sheffield Wednesday, when he was here, we're going through a really bad time. Worse now, right enough, but we're going through a bad time, so all their fans kind of united. So coming to Rangers, it's a different kettle of fish. It's different, totally different. And he probably didn't understand that, and he probably does now, to be fair. But he's probably just confused why. But I agree with you, Gareth. I don't think it was as much booing. There was a few boos. I mean, if you compare it to the start of the season when Russell Martin and the other two were getting booed, that was night and day, because that was the whole stadium was doing it. It was all night. It was more grumblings than it was booing. And I think it's just people are they're paranoid. They're sitting waiting and something Rangers happening, so they don't win the league or they give up. Because we're all expecting that because it's what we've known for the last wee while. We're all expecting to screw up somewhere. Do you know that way? If I say to you, Gary, here's £100, go and put it in somebody to win the league, you would probably pick Rangers, but somebody who's quite thingy, probably myself, I wouldn't, because I still think somewhere along the line we will screw up, whereas you don't. It's just because it's what we're used to seeing. It's what it's what we've expected. Do you know that way? So I think fans are they're just nervous, and I don't think Daniel understands that, because Rangers are a different football club to probably anybody else, and it's no great. I don't like doing it myself. Don't do that. I'll sit here and I'll say I did boo Russell Martin. I did boo Thelwell and Stewart.
Come on, and
I didn't boo Clement. I just wanted to rid of him at the end of the day. Same with other ones. I don't see a sense in it myself, but I think at the start of the season we're all just getting so frustrated, and I think now we've got ourselves back in the title race, and we're thinking we could win this. But there's fans who've experienced it, young and old, thinking, well, because the point dropped against Hibs didn't help, and then in the first half of the night, we're 1-1-0, but the boy Bruce Anderson should have scored.
Yeah.
And if he had scored that, there'd have been worse at half time. Do you know what I mean? It just Kilmarnock were picking us off quite easy. They were passing the ball quicker than we were in the first half. And the crowd are just wanting Rangers to do something. And it's a bit of both. The players have to do something, but the fans have to do something as well. You're never going to get a happy medium, I'm afraid, at Rangers, unless they do eventually win the league, and then everybody's going to be together. But it's just, we're sitting here expecting something to go wrong, because that's what we're used to seeing.
No, it's a fair point, you know, and I remember watching a podcast, David Edgar, he talks a lot about a British crowd being, organic and reacts to the nature of the game in a way, whereas if you go abroad to Germany and these places, it's basically just the same songs over and over again, same people doing the same thing. It's not in tune with the actual match itself, and I think that's probably one of the things Danny Rowe will be trying to get used to, is that if things aren't going well in terms of performance, the crowd will get annoyed. If things are going really well, the crowd will be very vociferous, and sometimes there's somewhere in between. So
Gary, the year we got to the Europa League final, every game was amazing. The atmosphere was superb. That's because we were all on that big roller coaster where we all were excited going to games. But it's just because of what's happened recently.
So do you think then? Sorry, Ricky. I'll ask you the question, Ricky, just before you come on, because you can follow this up. So do you think, I suppose, Ricky, would we have reached Europa League final without the crowd? And how important is the crowd going to be for us to actually win the league?
No, definitely we wouldn't have, because the atmosphere, especially against Leipzig, was unbelievable. But just some years you can feel it in the water that something's supposed to happen, and we were supposed to get to that final that year. But just another thing to say, I don't think we trust the team enough right now, and I think we're still worried. Like even us on this podcast, can we sit here and say Rangers is going to win the league? Right? We're going to speak through this podcast for the next 1 hour, and we're speaking negative about the first half, and we're going to speak super positive about the second half. You've got a lot of confidence when you see Olsen. He's starting to come on to a game. You've seen Ant-Man was superb on the left. The left back was sensational, right? So that gives you, if we can see more of the second half, and against Motherwell, you beat Motherwell and then you beat Hearts, I think the fans will really start getting behind the team. But I don't think there's that trust there right now between the supporters and the team that we're watching. We're getting results, and we'll love Rowe. And if we don't win the league, it's not going to be Rowe's fault, because he started from a horrendous position. But I think it's just building that trust. It takes time. Like when Kerr's going on about Bayern Munich and everything like that, these teams were outstanding. Leipzig, stuff like that. We don't have that with this team right now. It's coming, and it will come, and Rowe was building it, but it's just taking that little bit of time. If we can start seeing a little bit better football, or we don't have a goal scorer that scores goals, it's like a striker. This is like a weird Rangers team that we're watching, mate. So it's a bit weird for everyone with what you're seeing. Well, we're miles away and now we're close, but it still feels a bit surreal at the moment.
Yeah. So let's go into the game then, Ricky. So we made 3 changes. So Sterling, who can't play 2 games in a week, or lucky if he can play one without getting injured, was rested to manage his fitness. We had Chukwane went out and Diomande came back in, and Chermite also had more than 3 changes. Actually, Chermite also had a stitches in his Achilles.
Yeah.
And Fernandez was out with a slight knee injury. So then came Njiga, I think, for there. So we had a few changes to the team. Started off very quickly in the sense that we got a penalty and a red card. Now, I suppose first I'll get your thoughts. One in the play leading up to, because I thought Magoma played a brilliant ball inside. It was probably nobody's really talked about. Really good ball inside, the way Moore was running across. He runs with the ball, fantastic pass in. Gassama gets in front of the guy. To be fair to the boy, he doesn't know anything about it. He bangs into him, falls over him, and then it's a penalty and red card. I was a little bit confused at the game, what constitutes a red card or not with the last man, because I'd watched the Hearts game the night before and they had him a red card, but I think it's something to do with genuine attempt to play the ball or something.
Exactly, that's it. It's a genuine attempt to play the ball when he catches his feet. So I can't even believe people are debating it. Like, how can you debate if it's a red card? He wipes him out with his feet, and thank God he did, because Gassama would have missed. So thank God he wiped him out and did us a massive favour, mate. But there was no debate. There was no debate for me. It was a clear red card. Brilliant penalty from Tav, who's on a good roll with penalties. He's smashing them into the corners just now. And when you seen that team lineup, it was a little bit worrying, Gary. You know, it was like everyone was looking at that and we're like, he's reverted back because he's tried to throw the new players sort of right into the team and it's not worked. So I think it was probably good what he did in hindsight, that he brought the new players from the bench and like bedded them in. And it was interesting. But it's easy when you look back and go, oh, it was everything was genius and everything worked and it was a great night and stuff. But when you actually seen that lineup, it was a bit worrying. And then so it's not really a surprise with the first half performance with that team that was on the park. But to be fair, just after half time, they were a lot better. There were a lot more. There was a lot more drive in the team. You could tell he maybe gave them a kick up the arse at half time. But it was a good move. A great goal, and to get that early goal it should have settled everyone down, but it didn't. But it was definitely great to get an early goal just to like settle the stadium down with the way that things went, mate.
Yeah, and Scott, you know, we've talked a few times. We talked about Dundee and even Hibs to an extent. Is that you're playing against another team, right? And I actually thought Kilmarnock came out, tried to play, pressed quite high. Even at down to 10 men, they actually worked. I mean, it wasn't a team that was coming there. Their identity, their style, they obviously off the back of a 3-0 win over Aberdeen at the weekend. And it does take two teams to play. You know, we were very quick to criticise Rangers in that first half and they were really poor. But I also thought Kilmarnock, for the first hour, played really well before they ran out of legs.
They played okay, Gary. They had one or two chances. They didn't really have any more than that, but they kept their shape well. They were disciplined. But the thing is, Rangers never moved them about. Abraham is very slow and timid. When everything's slow and timid and sideways, the other team don't have to. You're not moving about even with an extra man. So I just sit in a position waiting and you come in, and we weren't really doing that. Changed in the second half, and I think that was probably the more frustrating thing. I think, to be honest with you, if Asgard sits on the bench next few games, I think there'll be as much moaning and groaning. I think he's one of the problems at the moment. But Kilmarnock came in. McCann didn't go back. They didn't revert back to defending. He said, I think he just had a go with it, because at times, even we had set pieces and corners and stuff, they were still leaving men up. Yet when they had a corner, we had everybody in the box. Yet we had an extra man. I don't know if you noticed that. It's like, what are we doing? We weren't even leaving anybody up. That just confuses me, because it's like you're clearing it and it's going back to them, and they're just going to keep it again. They're just going to hit it back into the box. Leave somebody up to chase it down, even grab it and hold it up for others to come up. But we weren't leaving a man up. We don't really leave anybody up at defending set pieces, and that really pisses me off. I don't know if you've seen the Chelsea-Arsenal game. I've seen a clip of it, and the Chelsea done. I mean, kind of confused the Arsenal players. But it's something like that you have to do, especially if a team's quite good at set pieces. It's something like that you kind of have to change to make them think. We only doing that to come on enough in the first half. We were. I mean, Asgard, then he was in the game. When he was in the game, he was coming back, getting the ball and just passing it back away and not really moving anywhere else, just kind of standing about. You've seen the difference in off and Moore goes into the middle. Mikey Moore's all running. Yeah, he loses the ball at times, but one thing he does when he loses the ball, he goes and hunts it to try and get it back. He presses. When he's in the free role, he's really, really good. That's how I don't like pigeonhole him into a side. I just see Mikey Moore, go and play where you want to play, and because you will get involved, he'll create. Asgard's not got that for me. I don't know if that's his style. I mean, I've seen him before with Wigan and Luton, and he's always looked very good technically, but for a chap that size and for all the attributes he's got, he still gets something missing for the Scottish game. And I don't know if we'll ever get it because he's been here, 6 months, and he's still struggling at times.
Yeah, it's a tough one. We lots of Rangers players over the years have took a year at least to settle in, so we don't know. I mean, at the moment, he's not done enough. See, just before I come to you, Ricky, Scott, we were talking at half time, so the rest of the first half's pretty much a non-event, as we talked a lot about the crowd. But at half time, you said to me something that, do you think Rowe's a defensive manager? And I think we talked a little bit about, and this sounds a bit stupid, we win 5-1 at the end of the game, so I recognise the irony here as I'm talking. But one of the things that's probably noticeable is his desire to make sure not lose goals, sometimes at the expense of scoring goals, or is that the perception? What's your thoughts on that then? Just we chatted about it.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying to you, it was one of the boys that we had on here, mentioned me to see how things are and stuff, one of the Sheffield Wednesday podders, and asking how we're going because he's seen the results, how we're improving under Danny, and I was saying to him, and he says, he said, you'll probably not score many goals each game. He said he does like to defend and hit and break. He said he done it with them. Obviously it's different with Sheffield Wednesday. But I don't know if he's like that, if he's just maybe trying to get results at this moment in time. Maybe when he gets more players on in, it might change again, because I think he's got the players now. Maybe he's getting more physical guys in, guys that more they can run and stuff like that, whereas maybe he's not got that before. But at the end of the day, if you do keep the goals out, you've got a 50% chance of winning the game, haven't you? More than you did if you concede. So you can't have everything, Gary. He's brought the goals down, conceded really down. Defensively, we're a lot better, but we've still not scored as many goals as we all would like. But we can't have everything straight away.
Yeah. I seen a stat actually, and before we move on to the second half, that showed, I think since Danny Rowe came in, we actually are the top goal scorers and the second best in conceding goals and things like that in the league. So there's maybe a little bit of a fallacy around some of it, or maybe it's a couple of good results that's got us that score, but we're maybe not quite as bad in terms of goal scoring as some of the people would have you suggest all the time. But Ricky, we come into the second half, and I'm trying to work out my timings here. So if I remember rightly, it was still 1-0 when the Celtic fans over the last couple of days have been going apoplectic, that the ball comes punted over. Miovski gets challenged in the middle of the park. Ball gets punted over the top. Their defender goes down under a challenge from Tav, and Austin Trust, these things been replayed a million times ever since, saying, what's the difference? I suppose I'm just interested in your thoughts at the game. I remember looking at my daughter saying, it's hard to see because it's upside the pitch, there might be something in that. I've watched some replays, the slowed down version, as always does. You see one hand on the body and the guy's already gone down, but I don't know what your thoughts on it were.
No, for me anyway, personally, it's easy for us to sit on a pod with blue spinted glasses on and say, it's, for me, I don't think there was enough in it. You will get, you can see how it could have been given, right? In a very, very, very harsh circumstance, it would have to be for that. I see people speaking about it and debating it, even in in the chat. There's people talking about it and stuff like that. For me personally, there's no enough in it. I think the Kilmarnock player sort of pushes into Tavernier, and then he's sort of like grappling. They're both at it with the same sort of impact for me. It's definitely not there's no enough in it for a red card for me. If it was a foul, it was definitely a red card, by the way, because he was on a booking anyway. So you're either giving him a second yellow or you're sending him straight off. So if he did give the foul, he had to send him off. But for me, there wasn't enough in it to even up the match personally.
Scott, what's your thoughts at the game? I thought, you know what, it's hard to see. It could be something in it. I've watched it replays. When you slow it down, there's contact, but does contact mean the guy flings himself down? What's your thoughts?
I think we're very lucky he didn't get sent off. That's what I think. I think it was one of the ones, when I seen it at the game and then I've watched it on the TV, I still think he should have got a booking, yeah. I think he puts his arm across just to stop him moving. Yeah, the ball was maybe further away, but he was on a yellow. It was stupidity, but personally, I think it should have been off, yeah.
So that, I think, sorry, you're going to say something there, Ricky?
No, just that he's a tough hater guy.
I'm going to move on to that. I didn't like that comment. No, to be honest, I'm undecided. I've not watched that enough. I watched it on my phone, things that I think I could quite. If he gave a yellow, if he gave a foul, You couldn't really argue it. If you didn't give a foul,
Yes.
people want to argue. It's one of those ones.
It was very tight. It was very close. Like it was one of the ones that you can see it either way for sure. Right, depends what colour of glasses you've got on.
Exactly. So we then Miovski, Ricky, we then get sent goal. Miovski, who'd been pretty poor all game actually, as usual, his link-up play and etc. and wasn't really getting involved in the game. Scores a wonderful goal, but and also want to pick up maybe Deal, because I thought Deal was outstanding again. He's really, since the Celtic game, he was excellent. His movement, apart from his shooting's all over the place. I don't know if you. I was getting a bit worried that in the second half he was going to hit me, and I'm up at the very back of the Broomland with some of them. But his actual movement around the box, lovely ball back, and a crank finish for Miovski.
It was a great finish, mate. Great, very controlled finish right into the bottom corner. But you know that with Miovski, that if you do feed him chances, he will score goals and he will put it into the net. But the problem with him is it'll be interesting to see. I don't know when we get speaking about the team selection against the Queen's Park on Sunday. It'll be interesting to see if he does go 4-4-2, because it was interesting that he left Miovski on the park when he brought on Big Nadiri. And that might be something that he thinks about trying just as an experiment on Sunday, to see if that's something maybe going forward that's a good option to use, and if they can link up quite well. But it was a great finish by Nadiri. By Miovski. Mo Ross in the commentary, he actually said Diomande should come back onto the pitch with 10 footballs and just bang one into the net, because he's desperate to score, but he's useless at shooting. His shooting it's so bad, man. It's more dangerous if you're sitting. Well, you guys are in the Broomlawn, man. I mean, the amount of balls he fired into the Broomlawn was like he was trying to hit someone in the crowd. He's like it's like a joke footballer where he's shooting. He needs to practice. He's always been like that since he came to Rangers. Well, he scored one on his debut against St Johnstone. This guy's amazing. This guy's unbelievable. We'll sign Toure from Man City. And Jesus, since then he's no hit a cow's arse, man. So he needs to practice his shooting. But no, great finish from Miovski, and hopefully Diamande's shooting gets better.
We then, and I'll tell you, I can't remember when all these subs happened. So we'll just basically bring all the subs on, right? And this bit, and so Aarons comes on for Tav. We've got Ant-Man, Skov Olsen, Nadiri, and who's the other one? Come on, Romans, Romans, we're going to talk about a lot. So
how can you forget about the best player in the world, man?
I wanted to spend the whole pod on him. He was amazing. Aarons comes on. Felix, my daughter, said to me about Aarons. She turned around at me and said, "Aarons is actually doing okay for his limited ability. That's probably as well as he can do. Do you know he's actually playing decently for the ability he's got." But so we'll not talk much about him. But we get Scott. We bring on the 4 subs. We probably then start to overpower Kilmarnock. There's a mixture of them tiring. There's a mixture of us bringing on more creative threat and Roman, Skov Olsen and Nadiri particularly. And we then go 3-4, 3-0 up first before we pick on. But it's 3-0. Again, we started to score kind of similar goals. I think Skov Olsen, if I remember, gets the third one. Really, he'd missed a good chance before that. Should have scored a couple of minutes before with a similar kind of opportunity. Really nice finish. Dinks it into the kind of top corner. I actually looked back and watched it again the next day. I thought, I'm surprised they didn't try and disallow it for the Rangers player that was standing in front of it.
It was a great finish because he had to dig it out his feet, didn't he? I was quite close to it. He had to dig it out his feet, but he positioned it right into the corner, so it was a great finish. And you can actually see how much it meant to him. Do you know that way? You can see he was so happy to score because obviously he's not played a lot of football recently. And I think you've seen him coming on the park, Ant-Man on the park, Mike coming on the park. We were pulling about like we'd done in the first half. And we were linking up with all Romans was overlapping, which is something that the fullbacks haven't been doing at all. But when you do stuff like that and you move the ball quicker, but you've got guys moving off the ball, I think Deal was moving off the ball as well. And Kilmarnock was finding it hard. Yeah, they were tired. But people keep saying to me they're tired, they were tired, but the goal they scored, they were still pressing. That's how they got their goal. Do you know what I mean? So you can't be that tired if you're still pressing. So no, we put a lot of nice stuff and they come on. And if I done that at the start of the game, I might not have been booing at half time, some of them, but it's good to see because that's what these players can offer, but we have to see them doing it obviously against better opposition and consistently. But what we've seen so far, I like what we're seeing. I thought Big Nadiri done really well. Nick Wanny he tried to curve the ball around the defender, didn't he, into the corner, so just maybe putting his laces to it. Olsen looked a lot better, even though he played against us, but I think that's helped him. Romans come on, he was just up and down the park. If he can do that every week, that'll suit me fine. I feel better at for years probably. I know you're going to say Tav, Gary, but I mean the other side. And I think
Borna, but never went far enough up. But his crossing was outstanding, wasn't it?
Borna was good, to be fair to him as well. Well, I'm just thinking Arthur Newman type. But no, I thought Mikey Moore was superb. He was everywhere. And he was creating stuff. He was getting back, treating back to get the ball. He was linking play. He was in the left. He was in the right. The boy never stopped running. He scored a great finish. And what I like about Mikey Moore is, like I said, he doesn't hide. He doesn't, even if he makes a mistake, his head never goes down. He goes back and gets it. And he plays with a smile on his face. And he actually enjoys himself. And you can see it. And that's what I like. And when you watch somebody, I'm not picking Asgard here, but when you watch Theo, when he makes a mistake, he doesn't enjoy it. He doesn't try and forget about it. It kind of sticks in there. Whereas Mikey was like, I'll just go back and get this again. I'll try it again. Maybe the next time it comes off. He just keeps going, and it was superb.
No, a really good goal. And while we'll give you the opportunity to talk about the next goal after that, Ricky, what happens is we then lose a goal for our first goal and what we've lost in 7 games. So we should have a clean sheet. But Jack Butland, who, to be fair to him, has been really good a lot of times this season. I think we talked to, he often lacks concentration at certain times and makes silly mistakes. And Jiga, with his outstanding pair of long johns on, passes the ball back, and Butland just missed it, sit it all together, didn't he, and wait for Greg Kilty hitting the back of the net. Can't be too critical of him because of how he's played over the season, but bad mistake.
Maybe that was the first time Butland actually noticed what Jigga was wearing on his legs, and that's why he lost concentration, man. He's like, what the hell? It's like he thought he went back in a time machine to the 1890s or something with these stupid long johns on. I've seen some amount of pish today on other podcasts. One is about it's about his muscles, making his muscles tighter, and the other is about religion. Since when is religion telling you to wear long johns at Ibrox in a game of football, man? What just absolute nonsense, man. But no, it was crazy from Butland, mate. But to be fair to him, Butland's kicking's atrocious, and we know his kicking's atrocious. Like, it drives you crazy, especially when you're playing in Europe, and you really, really, really notice it because he keeps giving the ball to better teams, and then you don't get it back off them. But in Scotland, you don't notice it as much. But we know that he's a great goalkeeper and he makes great saves, but he does have massive brain farts in him. But I think the manager does really like Butland, but it was a shocking goal to give away, mate. Really bad. Shame for the clean sheet. Nobody will be more disappointed than him. Yeah, because he's him. It's a clean sheet for him in the defence. Like, the defence, so like they take pride in clean sheets. But let's move on, mate. I mean, at the end of the day,
talk us through the fourth then. Talk us through the fourth. Ant-Man, who has been missing in action since the last 6 months, really.
I think everyone's worth a mention and this is what we're speaking about not having a connection with that team because they've been dire to watch. But when these players came on the park, and I thought Ant-Man was outstanding on the left, by the way. I hope he starts against Queen's Park on Sunday in that position, because that's something that's interesting that we need to explore to see if we can get, especially with Romans. And like, it's no digging out Magoma, right? Magoma, as we spoke about him on this podcast, he's just there. But when you see a proper left back and what they can offer with that quality, I mean, the guy was just sensational. Every single attack, and he's an athlete as well. He looks the part. He looks brilliant. He runs like an athlete. He's so powerful. And that's going forward and getting back. We don't know how he is defensively yet, because we're yet to see what he's going to be like when he's tested against a proper. And hopefully he starts at Fir Park, and then you'll see that against Motherwell. But what a debut from him. Mikey Moore, absolutely outstanding. And I totally agree with Kerr. Nobody cares if you try 4 dribbles and only 1 comes off. That's good enough, mate, because you're at least trying. Look at Asgard, man. Asgard is like somebody. I had a scarecrow on my oil rig to get rid of the birds, right? Because they keep shitting where the helicopter lands. And he's a better footballer than Asgard, by the way, this bird that was on the roof. You get more entertainment, movement. He is the most weak Scouse Viking I've ever saw in my entire life. He gave us 3 or 4 weeks of a purple patch, and now he is like a scarecrow on that pitch, man. And by the way, he could cost us this title, big style. If he starts at Fir Park and we get overrun in that midfield by Motherwell, and then we go into that Hearts match and then things go tits up because of Asgard, then fans will not forgive him. if that is the case. He shouldn't be starting matches. But when you bring on that proper quality, the other players, and you really see that quality on the pitch, which he did. And I don't agree with Kilmarnock were tired and stuff like that, because you could see the genuine quality in Moore, Olsen, Romans. That's not going to disappear. That's the quality that you need in our lineup. And now we need to get Chuck Whanney in there as well, because he's got that quality as well. The levels are going up compared to what we've had, and the big striker looked the part as well. Shermitty's been good at linking the play and everything like that, but this kid actually looks dangerous. He looks like he's going to take the Rangers like a duck to water. You know, you can just tell with your eyes right away when you see a player. You're like, oh, there's something there with a big man, like especially compared to Danilo, who could barely walk. I mean, he's in Holland now. So no, good debuts from the guys that came on. Excellent, and it's exciting, and I hope that these guys, I would like to see the team that will basically finish the match on Wednesday, start on Sunday, but we'll speak to.
Don't tell us that now, Ricky. Don't tell us that. That's coming shortly. I'm going to get you to answer the question though from Shona, because so Giga actually was she's asking a question. If Giga actually continues to perform the way he has been performing, would you like to see him here next year with Wolves getting relegated? Now, to be fair, I thought he was excellent start of the season, horrendous against Bruges and collapsed in form, and to be fair, in the last few weeks he's actually looked decent again.
I don't think there's enough value with the money that Wolves are going to want. I'm not paying $6 million for Giga, if I'm being honest. I think you can find elsewhere a better option than that. I'm not paying 9 million for Magoma. So for me, if you just throw the both of them in there, because they're both sort of similar prices, even though they're young and stuff like that, I think Wolves have been ripped off, to be honest with you. They've paid 8 times more than what they should have to that Red Star Belgrade. So for me, I get where Sean is coming from, and there is potential there that if you keep that confidence going, he is a big, strong lad, and he's good on the ball and stuff like that. He's one of the players that when he's good, he looks really good, and when he's bad, he's really bad, like really, really, really bad. So it's difficult. It's difficult to judge. He's one of the players that would worry you, that you would spend $5-6 million, and then all you would see would be the bad, and the good would disappear. So for me personally, I wouldn't be keeping any of the loan players. Moore we're never going to keep anyway, but to be honest, there's none of them on loan that I would keep, except for Olsen, if he can get the form going and can really kick on for Rangers.
Yeah. So Scott, I'm going to get you a chance to talk about Tour Roman. So we have first time we got to see him for half an hour last night. It was one of the best debuts I've seen for half an hour. I thought it was outstanding. So his energy up in that park. But what I liked most about him was the fact that his crossing wasn't just crosses hoof to the back post. It was drilled passes a lot of time, more often than not. It was actually trying to pick a man out. It was looking up. It was getting into space. And without getting into all the technical stuff, all the underlap and the overlap and all the stuff that people have talked about and been really good at, he looked as a physical specimen. He looked powerful. He's 6'2". He looked the part, to be honest. I mean, I came away thinking that between Mikey Moore's performance and him, they were the two things that stuck in my head after the game.
Yeah, Gary did. They look really good, and I think that's mainly because you haven't really seen that this season. For any fullbacks going up and down like that, and I think he's come on when he makes runs like what he does. He's taking players away for, like, when Moore's get the ball or Antman had the ball. He's creating space for them as well. So he done really, really well. He was, like you say, he wasn't just hitting the ball in. He was trying to pick a man out. He was trying to hit it low. He was trying to cut back, and because he's hitting the byline. That's what I like to see for fullbacks. Because fullbacks can be very vital to your team, especially attacking wise, offensively. So just hopefully he continues it when he starts to play regular. I mean, obviously Magoma's still done really well this season. I don't think manager's just going to chuck him out and say, right, Romans is fit, you're sitting till the end of the season. I know Romans is our player and Jayden isn't, but the kid's done really, really well since he's been here. So I think probably the two of them will be in and out. But what we've seen for Romans, it's what we've wanted for a fullback probably since Borna. And he done really, really well last night, the other night, and it's just his way he was trying to pick out players and set up and chances that way, instead of just hitting it high or getting to the byline. Maybe what Borna did at times was turn back and hit it back to somebody else to cross. He was trying to do it himself. Obviously, he's wanting to impress, wasn't he, as well? So you have to add that in, but he done really, really well, and he does look quite a physical fullback, a big boy, and he's quick, and I don't think he's going to get pushed off the ball easily. So, like I said earlier, a couple of people have said in the comments, we'll have to see what he's like defensively as well. But what we've seen so far, we were impressed.
Yeah, no, I thought he was outstanding, and I probably disagree with you. If we see him a few more times and he plays like that, Montgomery's done well, but it doesn't look a patch on him, if I'm being brutally honest. And if that's
I agree with you, Gary. I just think the manager's just not going to chuck Jaden out and say, I'm not going to say again. I think that is quite fair. And I feel he's going to be that way as Asgard as well, even though we all want Taylor to sit on the bench. I don't think he's going to do that either.
Yeah. So, Ricky, last 2 points then on the game. So we had Mikey Moore eventually scores the 5th goal, who had been desperate for a goal by that point. I think you could see that it was crying out for a goal. Really nice finish. And the Mikey Moore chant goes, and Nico Raskin singing away. I've seen that. And our new signing, Nadiri. So Ryan Nadiri played half an hour or so. I suppose just get your thoughts on what it looked like. I mean, it's hard for somebody to come in 2 days before that, all the travelling that goes with it, and the expectation. But how did you think he done?
No, I liked him, mate. I liked him. You can tell right away, Gary. I liked him. I thought that he enjoyed Ibrox. He enjoyed the experience. I don't know if you saw his press conference today. He speaks really well. He speaks better English than Roll does, which is amazing. He said today that it's been great to speak to Roll in his native tongue, German, and like get a feel for the club and stuff like that. And I saw people swagging like because he's from the 3rd division in Germany, mate. It's nothing to do. This is the sort of players we should be finding. I mean, who cares if he costs 5 million if he comes in? But we do need to see. I thought he was really unlucky with his chance, and he'd be kicking himself that he never took that opportunity. But it was good that he was there to miss it. And what a perfect game to start him on Sunday from the start. I would maybe start him and Miovski. I wouldn't be against that, but definitely Nadiri's got to start, because if it doesn't look like Shermitt is going to make next week, if he's just had stitches in his Achilles and he couldn't even walk, I mean, that's not going to be. That's going to be two weeks before he's getting the stitches out, and then you've still got the pain of getting your stitches out. Then you've got to see how you can maybe bandage it up and stuff like that. And that was one of the tackles that Michael Stewart said there was nothing in it. He didn't even touch him, and that is just absolute Scottish football at its best, man. Chaos. But so no, we're really impressed. Want to see more of him. Hope he starts on Sunday. And Moore's goal, we deserved it, mate. He was everywhere, and it was like a total buzz bomb of a performance. And he is a kid that could drag you to the title. He's good enough to do that. And I hope that we've got a line of communication open with Tottenham to keep him on loan next season, because he's probably, you can tell, like this is a perfect loan scenario, because he's no good enough to go play for Tottenham in the Premier League just now. He's miles away from that. But he's good enough to play for Rangers, and you can see that he's trying to get that consistency. So if he can stay at us and like really enjoy it and get that consistency, there's no point in Spurs taking him back from us and putting them in the Championship and playing in, like, for a team where you're playing every 3 days, but it doesn't really matter if you draw, you win, you lose, because there's another game. Like game. For me, Rangers is the perfect club for Mikey Moore to learn. We're never going to be able to sign him, but it's great to see him, and he's getting better all the time, and he's one of the players that can drive you to the title. So hopefully we're speaking to Spurs, keep him for next season, mate. And if we do, then that would be perfect scenario with Moore, because it'll be a bit gutting, it'll be a bit devastating when he goes out the door at the end of the season, mate.
Yeah, hopefully with a title, just something to remember. So league title, Hearts the previous night they'd been defeated 1-0, Scott, from St Mirren after another sending off. And what was the bits we've seen of the game was a pretty horrendous game of football, with one team lumping it up, another one lumping it back. But it did move us to 3 points behind Hearts. We now got Motherwell away from home next week and Hearts on Saturday. I was thinking about this, actually. This is the bit that we've got 13 games to go, Scott, right? 6 of those games are against Celtic, Hearts and Motherwell. Right, so that effectively what will define the league title, isn't it? You know, those games are... so half of the games that we play now at the end of the season will be against those other 3 teams. And, well, we're in a strong position and could go top of the league this time next Saturday or Sunday, whenever the game is. It's a lot of big games coming up.
Yeah, we just have to keep it a game at a time still, Gary. I don't want to look ahead, because that's when you start to believe too much, then somebody just runs up and kicks you right square in the nuts. I just feel we have to just concentrate in the cup, the game on Sunday, and then look at tomorrow. I feel the Millwall game is going to be not the most important game, but one of the most important games, just to get us over that hump, as you say, because Motherwell don't lose many goals. No, as they've got a good defensive record.
They've got a phenomenal defensive record, actually. They've got really good.
They do really well at home. I think they've beaten everybody apart from us this season. The rest, I think we drew and we beat them, but I think they took points. They could have beaten everybody else. So it's going to be very difficult, and that's why the manager's got to get it right. Because Motherwell like to play football. They like to pass the ball about at a good tempo, and you can't have passengers in there. So it'll be good once the Queen's Park game's over. I'm going to concentrate on the Queen's Park game first before the Motherwell game, because the Motherwell game brings you anxiety. Just to comment on Mikey Moore, there's a lot about chat about Mikey Moore. Ricky said it yourself. If Mikey Moore continues the way he's playing, he'll go back to Spurs and he'll end up playing with Spurs. Because you look at English Premier League just now, you've got boys at City getting in the team, Lewis and O'Neill, guys like that. You've got Liverpool bringing in players, United have brought in Mano. Mikey Moore's no far away for these guys. He just needs time in the first team. And I think watching Spurs, they're not the greatest. Somebody in there with a bit more flair. I think Mikey Moore could add that. We're just going to have to enjoy the lad. He's never going to come back to Rangers. I think when you're one of these guys where you don't fall in love with lone players, we're going to enjoy him. He might come back when he's a bit older. He might come back as a fan, but I think at this moment in time, he's out of our league for purchasing. Doesn't matter if you want to send Raskin, Diamande, half a team down. Spurs aren't going to sell him to Rangers. Do you know that way? I think just enjoy him while he's here. Like you say, Gary, hopefully he goes back down to London with a couple of medals in his pocket.
Exactly. Ricky, so Scott didn't want to answer that question, right? So he was just saying what folks in the Queen's Park game. So I'm going to stick with you. So we have 6 games, as I say, Motherwell, Celtic, and Hearts twice. We play them, and will define fundamentally the league title. It's basically in your own hands, very much so in your own hands, really. You beat the teams round about you, and you win the league effectively.
No, 100%. And we've got the tougher run of fixtures after the split, mate, with them being away from home. We go to Tynecastle and we go to the Piggery. So it's important that we take care of Hearts at Ibrox. And this has always been the game for me. I know we've got Real Madrid on Wednesday night with Sergio O'Donnell at the back. So that'll be a fun. So if we take care of Real Madrid on Wednesday night, then Hearts for me, if we don't beat Hearts at Ibrox, and nobody's beaten Hearts this season, by the way. Celtic's no beat them, Rangers haven't beat them. It's quite incredible that they've managed to keep that record going, which is absolutely nuts. So, but I think that's the game. It's like a massive title match, and it's going to test the minerals of these players. Are they up for winning the title? Because I think it's going to be Biden. Like, as much as he's a weird old man, he still gets results for Celtic. You know that they're going to be there, and it's so frustrating because they don't play well. Always the team outplays them, but they still end up winning the match. So it's going to come right down to the wire, and the razor. It's going to be razor thin the margins, mate. So we've got to take care of Motherwell, and then we've got to take care of Hearts this week. And if we do that, then you can start looking to the other matches thinking, all right, here, there's something to play for here. But if we go and lose to Motherwell and then lose to Hearts, then that's it. It's all over again, mate. So it's a very big week for these players.
Are you still confident we'll win the
league? What gives me confidence, Kerr, right? What I'll say for me personally is, the forum table gives me a lot of confidence, right? Because we're so far ahead of Hearts and we're so far ahead of Motherwell since Roll came in. So what is going to change in that forum? But the only thing that could change with that forum guide is if these players do what we've did a lot of times since 55, before and after, is just completely blow up and bottle it and drop stupid points 2 games in a row. Because you can't do the title race is too razor thin. So you need to win you don't need to win every single game. That's just bullshit. But you've got to win as many points as you possibly can, so that you've got the flexibility to be able to go to Parkhead and maybe draw is good enough, or maybe go to Tynecastle after the split. And if you draw, that's good enough. That's the position we need to be in for me, going up to coming out of that split when we get to that point. So you can't. Anyone that says, "Oh, Rangers are definitely going to win the league," is living in. Or Celtic's definitely going to win the league. Or Hearts are definitely going to win the league. I'm confident it'll be between us and Celtic, but you can't say for certain.
Ricky, if I give you £100 now, who do you stick it on?
Rangers 100%.
Don't go with your heart, go with your head.
No, Rangers because of the form guide, mate. I just said like for me, I would put it on. I would put it on Rangers personally, but if you were asking me right now, just because of the form guide, mate.
So so who do I think? So I think again, similar to Rick. I think we bought well in January. I think it looks like we bought well. So those 4 players added to the squad that's already been on a pretty consistent run, and we talked about 28 points out of 30. Even before that, it was a pretty decent run. So as Ricky says, the form guide shows that we can compete and have competed over now. We don't lose many goals. So I suppose to me, it's whether we can keep that form up as opposed to anything else. You know, if we keep the form up that we've kept up for the last 3 months or 4 months, whatever it is, we will win the league. Now, whether you can continue that, and I think we've added better players than the other 2 teams around about us have. Although you can add as many good players as you want, but whether they actually succeed in after that transfer, you never really know. It's always a guess. So I think at the moment, either of us is slight favourites because we have the more settled team. We brought in good quality players, and I don't think the other ones have shown as much either to say that they're far better than us. So we will see over the coming weeks. Nobody can say when the certainty what's going to happen. It's literally.
I still just expect us to flop somewhere. That's just personally. I hope we don't. I just expect a Rangers side because I've been used to seeing it.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean? And that's why I expect it to happen again. But I'm hoping it doesn't because, like you say, we have been playing well. The forum guides there, the manager's done fantastic since he's come through the door. If they come in at the start, we'd probably be a way ahead. You never know, but that's all ifs and buts. But at this moment in time, I'm still expecting to see. It was his performance that actually done it. Before that, I was really confident, but the performance against Hibs actually set me back. So I thought, this isn't great, and we can't do that again because you can't. You can't win every game, but you can't afford to drop many points because what we're sitting saying, Hearts are sitting saying, and Celtic are sitting saying because it's that close, so we can't afford to drop many points.
I think I suppose my take on it is that we probably have the best squad at the moment, in my view. I mean, you could argue that the other one team across the city have got the best squad, but certainly Hearts don't have the best squad, right? No matter what, they might play well and do the rest of it. So in my take, we've got the best squad, I think. And it probably leads us nicely to the Queen's Park game because we're now in a position, Scott, whereby we could effectively change the whole 11 players and still have a pretty strong team out, which hasn't been the case for a long time. And we will get to, I suppose, your recollections. Before we talk about the team lineup, talk about the change you might make, because what do you remember of last February? I suppose when we lost 1-0 in that disastrous game. Most of it's blocked out of my mind, but do you remember anything of it?
But I remember anger, and I think after that, walking out at Ibrox thinking that baldy clown Clement should be sacked. That was my first thoughts after we get beat with Queen's Park was he should be sacked the next day because you can't lose to Queen's Park. It was only maybe a week before that we beat USG at Ibrox. Do you know what I mean? We were all excited, and I know things like this can happen at times, but we weren't great that day, and then Tav missed a penalty, didn't he, at the death, and we're thinking, this can't even happen. Queen's Park aren't they good enough to beat us, and at the stadium we were all wanting Clement to go. He never went, but he went no long after. But it can't happen again. It can't happen twice in a row. Lightning can't strike twice. A bottom championship, they're awful. But surely Lightning can't strike twice. I feel we're a slightly better team. Not much better. Because we've still got a lot of players there that still was there last season, or a few. So I just hope we put in a decent performance enough to win, because we shouldn't have to play really, really well. We could be on the part and just beat them with playing decent football. And I think if you're able to make a lot of changes, Gary, but I think the players he's signed should be playing just to give them more game time.
So give us your thoughts then on the changes, because I mean, you effectively could change the whole team. So do you think he does go wholesale changes, or do you think he
plays? I think
it gives you 11 in. Does Kelly start instead of Butland?
Yeah, Kelly starts. I think Giga. I mean, you would say Sterling, but you don't want to put him in there in case he end up.
He's going to get injured anyway. Does it matter?
Injured. I know. So you start Giga and Suter in a cup game, but I suppose it gives him extra minutes. Middle of the park, Chotwani's going to come in, isn't he? And then do you play? I don't know. He played Nadiri up top. I play Nadiri and Miovski. Give boys give him confidence if you can get a couple of goals. I think you might give him a rest, but he's only a young kid, so he maybe want to play I think you play a strong enough team. I think you leave out maybe a couple, like maybe Dio sits it and Raskin sits it, and then you go with the rest. Maybe like Fernandez, but if he's fit, I wouldn't play him either because like keep him for Motherwell game. And Butland, you get a rest, but you have to play a strong enough side to win first and foremost. But the boys we've signed, you need to play because they've not had a lot of minutes in their legs, and even half an hour against Queen's Park is going to help them.
Yeah. Ricky, so thinking of the team in lineup then, so let's see your 11 because there's lots of options now for a change.
No, I would like to see the team that basically finished the other night when all the new guys came on just for 60 minutes, 55, 60 minutes, get minutes in the legs. But I would start Aarons, I would start Kelly because you've got to give Tav a rest because we need Tav for Motherwell and Hearts. 100%. Give Tav the day off, by the way. Don't even have him in the squad. Let him play with his dogs. Just give him a day off and just forget about that. We need you for Motherwell. We need you for the Hearts match. So just for me, just completely rest him. Play Aarons, keep Sterling on the bench. Keep Jigga and Suter the giver because that's strong. Kelly in goal for sure. Definitely Roman starts at left back. Give him 60 minutes. I mean, remember, he's not played for a month. Imagine when he's fully fit, man. It's going to be like a roadrunner, man. Beep, beep, boom. Unbelievable, this kid, man. So he definitely starts. In midfield, definitely I would go Raskin, Chokwane, and maybe, I mean, I know Dio's thingy, but I would still go quite strong just to get the, because I think the players are fit enough. They've got, you're going to have after these 3 games, they're going to be playing 1 match a week. So maybe start with A3. And then I would like to see Ant-Man start on the left to see if there's something there. Or maybe Mikey Moore in the middle as well. So start Ant-Man on the left, Mikey Moore in the middle, and then play Olsen on the right, and then the Deary up front. Or I wouldn't be against saying 4-4-2 with Miovski, but something like that. Something like that. I had someone saying about Tav. Someone always keeps receipts, do they? It's because Sterling's never, like you said, Sterling's so unreliable. Like it's like, you know, Sterling. Me personally, I would love Sterling to come in against Motherwell and against Hearts because he's more solid a defender. But I thought we really missed Tav against Hibs because even though he is a little bit ropey in defence, he still gives you a lot going forward and he's still the captain of the team. So I thought we really missed him against Hibs, to be honest with you. That's got nothing to do with discussing next season and stuff like that. So that is, for me, we've got a title to win and he's your captain and he is good in Scotland, but you do need to manage his minutes and you're getting to 1 game a day coming pretty fast. So just keep him for the Hearts and Motherwell game because he's going to be. I would like to see a defence for these games. Obviously, it would be Tavernier, Suter, and Fernandez, and then Roman's left back. And I don't care about Magoma, by the way. Magoma's got to play because he's played this season. For me, absolutely no chance. You have to get your quality players that are levels above in your lineup, and Romans is levels above Magoma. You can see that right away. You have to have Moore in your lineup for these matches. In the middle for Moore. Moore is good on the wings, but for me still, you've got to get Moore in that middle where he really affects them. We're really struggling in that position, so why would you not play a player? Because he's brilliant with his back to goal, and you're sort of giving him a free role. You know, Asgard, look at the difference between him and Asgard, like just being involved in the match. It's so crazy. And you know that Asgard's going to start on Sunday and it's going to be like, why is he still starting him, you know? So that's what I would be looking at, stuff like that for Sunday, Gary. Don't take Queen's Park lightly because look what happened last season. Get a couple of goals ahead. See the new guys so that it's entertaining for everyone because it's still Rangers. You still want the team to put on a show. Keep that good feeling going. Keep that good feeling going from what you got in the second half on Wednesday into Sunday, and then then you're starting to get more of a connection with the team because the new boys are exciting you. If Olsen gets another goal, if the Deary gets a goal, and then you see these guys just a little taster for 60 minutes, and then that whets the appetite for the Hearts match, and then you beat Motherwell, and then that's a perfect week, Gary, going into that Hearts match, and then you really do get Ibrox rocking so that the players can feel it and try to get that European atmosphere going till the end of the season, because like you said, the 6-7 games at Ibrox, they will need the fans, but it's got to be an effort between the players and the fans. So that would be a perfect week for me, Gary, and it's a huge week, an absolute huge week for the club. We never thought we'd be back in this position at the start of the season with Martin and stuff like that. But now that we are, we do have a great chance to win this title, and we can't let it slip. We've got to get it and go and grab this title. So hopefully that's a good week for Rangers. 3 victories, and then look forward to coming on the pod next week to speak about the 3 victories.
Definitely. I will come back to you for a score in a minute. I'll give you my team just so, and then we'll finish pod. I think, like you, I'd make lots of changes. I'd probably have Kelly, Aaron's just there because that's all I can do. Probably Giga Suter and Robbins for an hour. Middle of the park, I'd like to see Chukwani, probably Raskin and Bajrami. I'd probably give him the number 10 role, but give Bajrami a shot in the number 10 role. Ant-Man left, Scott Wilson right, Nadiri up front, and then, as you say, make lots of changes after or get a few goals, hopefully, play a bit well, and then look at bring on 5 subs and then get ready for the next game. So and all being well, even if it's a comfortable 2-0 win, whatever it may be, just something that gets you through the next round, because that's really all that matters now after, and no injuries is the idea. So, Scott, score prediction. Do you have one after last year's 1-0 defeat? We're looking at heavy revenge.
Yeah, I think it'll be 4-0, Gary.
4-0. And we've no idea who's going to play really, so it's kind of hard to pick a goal scorer. Nadiri going to get one?
I'll go on and say I'll say Ant-Man will score again, and Nadiri will score his first.
And we've got Alexander saying Nadiri as well. What about you, Ricky?
Well, I was going to say 4-0, so I'll go 5-0, and then Nadiri, hat-trick, and Moore and Olsen. Nice day at the office. What about you?
3-0. I think it's one of the games you don't necessarily score a lot of goals. It might be quite slow just because it's a championship. These games against championship lower league teams sometimes are just quite frustrating. Hard to get it going in anyway. So a 3-0 win, get job done, move on to the bigger, more important fish over the next couple of weeks, when we hopefully can get ourselves by this time next Saturday. Was it Saturday? Sunday Hearts game? Is it Sunday? Can't remember. Is it Sunday? So this time, 9 days from now, we'll 4:30. And we will. If we win against Motherwell, win against Hearts, we should be top. You know, at very worst on the same points as them. So that's something to aspire to. I think that's probably it for this evening. Thank you everybody for watching. Lots of the comments in there. Please like, share, and subscribe, and all the stuff that you do. It helps the pod. It's great to have the threes back tonight. It was good to chat through some of the stuff, and we will be back on Monday night. We will be talking about the Queen's Park game and looking ahead to what is a huge game at Fir Park, but where we play against Real Motherwell Madrid, as Ricky says. You know, apparently they're now one of the most outstanding teams we've ever come up against.
Sergio O'Donnell.
That's that. I know, because you don't think the one from Max Vanisi or whatever his name is.
Oh, Jesus, man. Vinny Maxinese Jr. Vinny Jr.
I want to speak too soon, by the way, till Thursday.
We will see. Keep the faith, have the confidence, Scott. You know, and come Thursday, we might be even closer to Hearts. They've got a tough game against Edinburgh Derby as well, so we will see where we're at. So, thanks for watching, everybody. We will see you on Monday evening, and enjoy your weekends and take care. Bye now.